Christine Jorgensson, the trailblazing icon. Christine Jorgensson, originally named George William Jorgensen Jr. and born in 1926, became one of the first trans women to gain significant public recognition. After her service in World War II, she went to Denmark in the early 1950s to undergo rare hormone therapy and gender-affirming surgery. Upon her return to the U.S. in 1952, her story was sensationalized by the media, catapulting her into fame. She used her public platform to perform and educate others, paving the way for trans visibility long before it entered mainstream discourse. Billy Tipton, jazz star with a hidden identity. Billy Tipton, born Dorothy Lucille Tipton in 1914, was a jazz performer who lived as a man starting in the late 1930s. Touring with his musical group, he concealed his assigned sex at birth, often attributing his physical traits to supposed injuries. His true identity came to light only after his death in 1989, astonishing many. Tipton's experience underscores the personal cost of living truthfully in an era marked by deep prejudice. Virginia Prince, advocate for gender expression. Virginia Prince, originally Arnold Lahn and born in 1912, was a groundbreaking advocate in transgender history, known for her activism and writing. In the 1960s, she launched Transvestia magazine, creating a space for crossdressers and early trans voices. Though she eventually lived full-time as a woman, Prince often prioritized the social and emotional facets of gender over medical transitioning, fostering both support systems and controversy within the movement. April Ashley, style icon and legal fighter. Raised in wartime Britain, April Ashley identified with femininity but had no way to live it openly in her youth. After completing gender-affirming surgery in Morocco, she achieved fame as a model, appearing in Vogue and other major publications. When tabloids outed her, she lost work and became involved in a groundbreaking court case concerning her marriage, which denied her recognition as a woman for years. Despite numerous obstacles, Ashley remained a prominent voice for trans rights and representation. Caroline Casi, model and legal rights advocate. Caroline Casi, born Barry Kenneth Casi in 1954, began hormone treatment early and pursued modeling in London. She made a brief appearance in a James Bond film and was featured in Playboy, becoming one of the first trans women in mainstream media. After being publicly outed, her career suffered, but she took on legal battles for gender recognition and published autobiographies that helped legitimize trans identities in entertainment. Lily Elby, one of the first surgical transitioners. Lily Elby, a painter from Denmark, was among the earliest individuals to undergo gender affirmation surgery, beginning the process in 1930 under Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld in Germany. The surgeries, which were pioneering yet dangerous, led to her death in 1931. Though not widely recognized during her lifetime, her life later inspired the Danish Girl, shedding light on the risky early years of trans medical procedures. Raymond Burr, the quiet enigma of Hollywood. Raymond Burr, known for starring in Perry Mason and Ironside, was famously private, with speculation surrounding his sexuality and possible gender identity, although no concrete evidence confirms this. His case illustrates Hollywood's long history of hiding LGBTQ+ lives behind silence, where lack of openness gave rise to constant rumor and hearsay. Leverne Cummings, quiet trailblazer in Hollywood. Leverne Cummings, born Charles Leverne Cummings in 1923, held small acting roles before transitioning in the 1950s. Though she never reached mainstream fame, she found work in nightclubs and live venues, similar to Christine Jorgensson. Records of her life are limited, but her presence reflects how transgender individuals navigated the entertainment industry's margins in earlier decades. Candy Darling, glamorous muse and cult hero. Candy Darling, born James Lawrence Slattery in 1944, was a standout in Andy Warhol's entourage and New York's 1960s counterculture. Celebrated for her striking looks and avant-garde film roles, she boldly expressed her femininity in spite of widespread rejection. Though her life ended early due to illness at 29, she became an enduring symbol in music and art, admired for defying societal norms. Marcia P. Johnson, revolutionary and beloved figure. Marcia P. Johnson, a black trans activist, played a leading role in the 1969 Stonewall uprising, a pivotal moment in LGBTQ+ history. She co-founded the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, which helped shelter homeless trans and queer youth. Remembered for her generosity and unyielding activism, Marcia endured discrimination yet built a lasting legacy as a visionary leader in the movement for queer and trans liberation. Bambi Lake, bold drag artist and cultural pioneer. Bambi Lake, born Robert Dwayne Ford, was a central presence in San Francisco's drag and cabaret underground starting in the late 1960s. Celebrated for her vivid comedic acts, she candidly discussed her transgender journey and hardships, shaping queer performance by merging punk, drag, and personal narratives. Until her passing around 2020, she remained a lasting emblem of truth and creativity. Sylvia Rivera, relentless fighter for queer and trans justice. Sylvia Rivera, originally Ray Rivera and born in 1951, was a Puerto Rican-Venezuelan trans advocate who lived on the streets of New York during her teens. A major player in the 1969 Stonewall Rebellion, she co-founded the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries alongside Marcia P. Johnson. Rivera worked fiercely to include often overlooked trans individuals in the broader LGBTQ+ movement, becoming a fearless defender of justice until her passing in 2002. Leah Delaria, pioneering comic and gender non-conforming star. Leah Delaria, born in 1958, is a proudly lesbian, gender non-conforming stand-up comedian and jazz singer who shattered boundaries in the 1980s. Renowned for her edgy humor and daring presentation, she rose to popularity for her role as Big Boo on Orange Is the New Black. Though not trans, her open defiance of gender conventions broadened public awareness and inclusion in media. The Lady Shabi, Southern drag star and storyteller. The Lady Shabi, born Benjamin Edward Knox in 1957, was a cherished black trans drag entertainer in Savannah, Georgia. She became widely known after starring as herself in the book and film Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Famous for her sparkle and sharp wit, Shabi broke new ground for Southern trans entertainers and shared her life in her memoir before dying in 2016. Toni Morrison, literary icon exploring complex identities. Toni Morrison, whose birth name was Chloe Anthony Wofford, was a distinguished African-American writer and Nobel Prize recipient, not transgender, but included for her in-depth explorations of gender, race, and identity in her fiction. Through classics like Beloved and Song of Solomon, Morrison questioned dominant norms and expanded the dialogue on marginalized experiences. Vicky Lahn, drag comedian and AIDS awareness crusader. Vicky Lahn was a drag comic and performer active in LA during the 1980s and 1990s. Known for her biting humor and political satire, she tackled social issues through performance and lent support to the LGBTQ+ community during the AIDS epidemic. Her comedy and activism contributed to building safer, more accepting environments in the city's queer nightlife. Jackie Shane, pioneering trans voice in soul music. Jackie Shane, born in Nashville in 1940, was a transgender soul performer who gained prominence in Toronto's 1960s music scene. Celebrated for her dynamic voice and stage presence, she broke gender norms openly in her performances. Though not widely recognized in the U.S. during her prime, Shane became a rediscovered queer music icon before her death in 2019. Andrea James, trans advocate and media trailblazer. Andrea James emerged during the 1990s and 2000s as a vital voice for trans advocacy and media reform. She co-launched Transgender Media to promote fair representation, contributed to various screen projects centered on authentic trans lives, and developed tools to support transition and self-understanding. Her efforts led to more honest and respectful portrayals of trans people in media. Jacqueline Charlotte Dufresnoy, Coccinelle, early trans icon in Europe. Jacqueline Charlotte Dufresnoy, better known as Coccinelle, gained fame as a cabaret star in 1950s Europe. Following her gender-affirming surgery in 1958, she became a headline figure, starring in films and confronting societal and legal boundaries related to gender and marriage. Her advocacy and outreach to fellow trans women left a powerful impact on European transgender visibility before her death in 2006. These 19 stories reflect the long presence of transgender individuals in Hollywood and popular culture, often hidden, misunderstood, or erased due to societal intolerance. From early figures like Christine Jorgensson and April Ashley to bold activists like Marcia P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, these lives show extraordinary bravery and resilience in pursuing authenticity. Their legacies laid the groundwork for today's expanding awareness and acceptance. Looking back on this history makes it clear just how far we've come, and how much work still lies ahead.